All right, we're back with another Pick'em video. It is January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, and you're going to notice that there's an 8-game slate in the NBA, so definitely some value out there. But some of these games are starting earlier in the day. Like the first game is noon Eastern time, so just keep that in mind. Get your bets in a little bit earlier, and also sometimes early day games can be a little bit weird. So just keep that in mind. Maybe go a little bit lighter today, but there's definitely some value out there. We're going to go over some picks, talk about the deep dive into why I like them. I've been talking a lot about defensive schemes and things like that. And it's been really helping out. We've been killing it in the month of January. I've showed my Pick'It account a few times on this channel the past few days, and we're up over like 65 units for the month of January, which is nuts. And January is typically a month that's kind of a little bit harder to read because a lot of guys are missing time, and January can just be a lull in the season. But yeah, we've been killing it, so we're going to try to continue doing that. So if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. It's just going to tell YouTube to push this video out a little bit more when you hit that like button, when you comment something down below. It always helps, so I always say that. And also, if you're new around here, we are going to go over a recap of the last video's picks to see what we did right, see what we did wrong, and then also go into some back-to-back information, teams that are playing on a back-to-back, any sort of injury news. I like to get that out of the way before we talk about the plays, just to let you know who's playing, who might not be playing. That could definitely sway things and how you're thinking. So we'll do that, and then we'll get into some plays. All right, so jumping real quick into the recap of Saturday's video. So I didn't make a video Sunday. If I do miss a day, it's going to probably be Sunday. Sometimes the games are earlier. These dudes are young. If they go out Saturday night, maybe they don't. The NBA is just weird on Sundays. It's just something I think about. So I don't usually bet a whole bunch on Sunday. But our video picks from Saturday, we talked about 3 of them. Amin Thompson didn't play. Jalen Duren cashed his 19.5 points and rebounds. He played really well, even in limited minutes, because he was dealing with foul trouble. Continues to play really well against Nick Richards, who also looked really good in his Suns debut. So he could be someone to look at if he's going to get that much time. And then Tyrese Maxey over 26.5 points. We saw this at 26.5. We saw this at 27.5. There wasn't many books that had it up. Eventually, it did go up to like 28.5, 29.5, to be totally honest. And he only ended with 28. So this is like a half cash here, but it was a good read at 26.5. Looked too low. He shot a whole bunch of shots. And yeah, I'll count it as a win because that's where we did get it. If lines get moved, that's just going to happen throughout the day, especially if you're getting a good read on this. So kind of a half win there. So we didn't go over much. Definitely a winning day. I added Alex Sarr here a little bit later. So he was a 3-pointers attempted line. That's more of a PrizePicks line. That was way too low. I literally said it was suspiciously low. He shot 7 in a matchup that looked really good for that as well. So pretty good, easy little cashes there for us in terms of the video picks. That's what we're trying to go for each and every video. And yeah, good reads overall. All right, so jumping real quick into some NBA lineup news. I like to mention the back-to-backs here because the teams are on a back-to-back. Certain guys might be randomly adding to the injury report, but also certain players like Kawhi doesn't play back-to-back, so he's already ruled out. So there's only 2 teams on a back-to-back, and they're actually playing each other, so that could be something interesting. Both these teams are coming on a back-to-back. The Clippers, again, Kawhi's out. For the Bulls, Lonzo Ball will be a game-time decision. He missed yesterday's game as well, so we'll see if he's ready to go. But some guys definitely get a little bit of a boost when Lonzo is out. I've been looking at Josh Giddey's first quarter assists line. That's something that's kind of a random one that he seems to be cashing pretty consistently. Lonzo is someone that comes off the bench anyway, but a guy like Giddey might get a little bit more time if Lonzo is ruled out there. Any sort of other injury news, a lot of teams have injury news every single day. Dallas Mavericks, biggest news there is going to be Derek Lively is going to be a game-time decision. He's missed the last few games. Obviously, Luka's the biggest name. He's going to be out again. He's been out for a little bit. And then Jaden Hardy is going to be out as well. He's someone that comes off the bench and plays a little bit of minutes. So if he's going to be out, a couple guys could be getting boosts there. Good to see Kyrie Irving not on the injury report here today. Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Miller is going to be out for, I think, a week or so. Hurt his ankle, so some other guys definitely get a usage boost there. Detroit Pistons, Jaden Ivey's been out for a little bit, so we have some games to look at for that because definitely some guys get some more usage there. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. have been shooting a whole bunch. Houston Rockets, Amin Thompson, the guy we bet on the other day, he's going to be a game-time decision. Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be out in that one. Amin Thompson's going to be a big name here for especially guys like Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, because he's been playing a ton of minutes when he does play. And if he comes back, maybe you can't expect the 35 to 40 minutes that he's been getting in those games if he's a little bit hobbled. Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert will be a game-time decision. Obviously, a big name there. Dante DiVincenzo will continue to be out, so a couple of other guys like Naz Reid's been playing really well. Going to Memphis, Ja is going to be a game-time decision. That's a huge name, obviously, so we'll probably have to wait on the Grizzlies to see what's going to happen there. Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young is probable. Jalen Johnson is probable. That's good for the Hawks, who looked really good. They beat my Celtics the other day in overtime, and Jalen Johnson didn't look like he really missed a beat. Risa Shea is going to be out for this one as well, so look at someone like DeAndre Hunter, who might get a little bit of a boost there, but they're looking a little bit more healthy. New York Knicks, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Josh Hart are game time decisions, so that's huge for rebounding props and anything like that, but also scoring for OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and things like that. We're going to probably have to wait on those guys. They did practice on Sunday, so probably going to play if I had to guess, but as of right now, game time decisions, no probable tag. Phoenix Suns, Bradley Beal is going to be a game time decision. That's huge news that we probably have to wait a little bit on. For Tyus Jones especially, we've been going to his assists every single time that Bradley Beal's out. He's not scoring the ball well, so assists is definitely the way that I would play Tyus Jones if Bradley Beal is ruled out. I assume it's probably going to be at 6.5-ish, maybe 7.5, but 7.5 might be a little too high. At 6.5 though, I would probably definitely look at something for Bradley Beal. And then Nurkic is going to be out, so I mentioned Nick Richards, who's a new addition to this team. He played 29 minutes in his debut, so Nurkic probably done with the Suns. He's being listed out with an illness. He's missed the last 7 games. So Nick Richards probably going to get a whole bunch more run. Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Mobley is out. That's obviously huge for a guy that scores a lot of points on that team and also grabs a whole lot of rebounds. And then I'll also add that Isaac Okoro is out. So Karis LeVert, who kind of flopped in the game that we missed Mobley. He's only missed 1 game this year, so we don't have a ton of history. But you'd think that a guy like Karis LeVert would get the biggest boost there, especially with Isaac Okoro out now as well. But can he be trusted is kind of the difficult thing. And then in terms of like Jared Allen rebounding, he didn't rebound well without Mobley either. So just kind of a weird one there. But Mobley being out, we don't have a ton of history on. And then go to the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is going to be a game time decision. He rolled his ankle pretty bad, so I'd expect him probably not to play, especially with this injury report. Draymond Green, Kuminga, Podziemski, Kyle Anderson, all going to be out again for this team going up against the Celtics team that looks like they've been struggling. It's only a 7.5 point spread, even with all these injuries at home. So we'll see who steps up there. Dennis Schroeder playing his old team could be a little good little look there. Utah Jazz, everyone out as well. Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Clarkson, Colin Sexton, pretty much everyone that matters is going to be out for that one, except for Keontae George, who will probably get as much usage as he can handle. And then for the Pelicans, big news here, obviously, Zion Williams is going to be out. Yves Missi is going to be out, game time decision there. DeJounte Murray, probable, and then Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones, they've been out for a little bit. All right, so moving into our first play of the video, it is going to be in that noon game, so that's why I'm starting here. But I'm also really, really liking this play. Mark Williams over 13.5 rebounds and assists going up against Dallas. And you can see his numbers right here. He's only over in 4 of 16 games for the entire year. But recently, he's been absolutely killing it. It's not for, no reason. Like I mentioned earlier, they traded Nick Richards, and now Mark Williams is getting all the time he can handle. You've seen him get 36 and 33 minutes in those 2 games since trading Nick Richards. And in games he's seeing at least 30 minutes, these numbers get really, really good. He's only seen 30 minutes plus a couple times this year, but you can see that's his number goes up even in terms of minutes per game, in terms of the game he played. It gets better and better, and he's played 3 games with 30 minutes. He's over in all 3 of those, averaging 17 rebounds and assists. 29 minutes, he's actually played 4 games. He's over in all those as well, averaging 17.75. So you put Mark Williams on the floor for 30-plus minutes, he's going to do his job, grabbing some rebounds, definitely getting some assists as well, which I like, 2, 4, 2, and 3. I was looking at his 1.5 assists. It might be a little bit juiced, but if you don't love his rebounding potential, I don't know why you wouldn't. You could go look there as well. But rebounds and assists, I think he's going to be able to do this. He's, again, crushed this line in some of these games. And now he gets Dallas to allow rebounds 19th ranked, assists 15th ranked, but to the center position, 21st and 26th. So great matchup in both regards here for Mark Williams, and I'm loving to see these numbers. I actually went back and checked last year as well. We can do that 2023. In games he saw 29 plus or 30 plus minutes. Right here he saw 6 of them. He was over in 3 of 6 games, averaging 14 RA in those games as well. So even last year when he wasn't as good, I would say he's definitely better, improved a little bit. He's a younger guy, so he's getting better each and every year. It could be an exponential thing for sure. He's still over in, more than those games, averaging more rebounds and assists in those games. So loving Mark Williams here, 13.5 rebounds and assists. He's got a great matchup for it. It is a noon game. Just keep in mind it's an earlier game, but loving what I'm seeing here for Mark Williams. And in terms of adding the points to this line, I don't love it as much. He could definitely score. Again, we've seen him get the minutes, and he scored 24, 31, 19. Brandon Miller's out of this game as well. And you can see points allowed to centers is also pretty high. So I definitely don't mind the PRA at 29.5. I just kind of have some sort of feeling that I like the rebounds and assists a little bit more. But yeah, again, LaMelo's going to do his thing, but no Brandon Miller here. Miles Bridges is going to chip in with points. But he's been scoring really well. I just wanted to point that out. It's not the best matchup in the world. You can see points allowed to centers, but restricted area defense, they're ranked 10th, and that's where he's going to get most of his points here against Dallas. So I wasn't loving that scoring potential, but he has been scoring really well. So just want to point that out to clarify. You could do a PRA line. I'm favoring the rebounds and assists though. Moving to the next play here, another center that's going to be hopefully abusing the restricted area. This is a weak defensive team for restricted area scoring and things like that. But it's going to be Walker Kessler over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. The biggest thing here is all the injuries that are happening. No Lauri Markkanen, no John Collins. Those are two bigs. Now we got no Kellen Sexton, we got no Jordan Clarkson, and they just played this team, and we didn't see Walker Kessler because of rest, so he should be ready to go, ready to get 27 plus minutes in a really good matchup. You can see all the green right here, points allowed, rebounds allowed, assists allowed. Zion's back. The numbers are probably a little bit skewed, but Zion's definitely more of a threat offensively than defensively. Kessler's just a bigger guy. He's going to be matched up with Yves Missi, so he's got a little bit of size on him. Missi's definitely a big center as well, but we've seen centers, score well on this team, rebound well against this team, and then I added assist just because if he's going to see 27 minutes, 30 minutes, he's usually going to get at least one assist, and the points and rebounds line sitting at 24.5, so I am favoring the PRA in this matchup. Now to get a little bit more analytical in this one, I guess before we do that, we should see the games just without Lauri Markkanen in this one. Again, we had John Collins, Sexton, we had Jordan Clarkson, even just without Lauri Markkanen. 5 of 7 games he's gone over this, averaging 27.71 PRA. That's including some of these duds. The other ones are very much more consistent, so I do see him. I'm not expecting him to get 50 PRA or anything like that, but 26, 27, 30, definitely not out of the realm of things, especially considering this matchup that looks good overall for everything. Not only rebounding, which we know he can grab a ton of rebounds. You can see the assists start piling up in these games as well. It's just going to be more in pick and roll actions and things like that. And then I started writing it down here, so I'll be able to show you here. The Pelicans, in terms of the matchup here, 30th ranked in terms of putbacks allowed. That's 29% of Kessler's scoring. 29th in terms of defending the restricted area. That's 85% of where he shoots most of his shots. He's definitely not a shooter. He doesn't go out of the restricted area at all. 85% of his shots come from the restricted area. They're 29th in defending that. And they also rank 28th in terms of rebounds allowed to centers, like I just showed you right here. It's going to be a perfect matchup for him. So if he gets the time, hopefully no foul trouble. Again, we just saw Drew Eubanks, which I added in the little description here. When we saw Eubanks go against this Pelicans team, he put up 17, 7, and 1. So, Kessler stepping in there, a better rebounder, sometimes a better scorer as well. And then assists, I'm just throwing it in here. It's just a dream matchup for a guy like Walker Kessler. So really liking this 25.5 PRA for Walker Kessler. And then strictly volume-based, these are a couple leans. Isaiah Collier, with the time he's going to get in the floor with all these injuries, we saw him go for a really good scoring game the other day. He had 23 points in that game, shot 16 shots. That was an OT game against Brooklyn. I haven't seen him score amazingly well in the other 2 games, but chipped in with 11 points, 10 assists, and 3 rebounds, and then he had 11 assists and 7 rebounds. So he's a guy that could definitely rack it up. With no Colin Sexton in this one, with no Jordan Clarkson in this one, he should get a whole bunch of time. And again, the matchup against the Pelicans, this is a higher point total. I think it's like 232, so I guess like middle of the road, maybe on the higher side. Could see a lot of scoring. Hopefully it's not a blowout, and these young guys don't have anything in Zion and the Pelicans and running him out of the building. But if he gets the volume, which I think he will, Collier, also Keontae George, both kind of leans strictly based on usage and how this game might go. So again, this could be a blowout. Maybe don't put a ton into this one. I do like that Walker Kessler line just because I think it's a little bit more steady, but don't be surprised if you see Collier and Keontae George cross their lines today. Move along to our next play here. I guess this is just a video of centers, but it is going to be Nick Richards, the new trade piece. We talked about him when we talked about Mark Williams, but I'm loving his line here, 18.5 points and rebounds going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Cavs have Mobley. They got Jared Allen. But the big thing here is there's going to be no Evan Mobley in this matchup, who is their defensive anchor down low. Obviously, Jared Allen, a great defensive player as well, but Evan Mobley is definitely the top tier defender on that team. So the numbers don't look good in terms of points in the paint, points and everything like that, but Mobley changes that whole thing, and Nick Richards' line just is too low. So for the entire year, 8 of 22 games he's gone over this. That doesn't tell the whole story. You see his 21 and 11 points. That was in his debut against Phoenix, where he saw 29 minutes. We saw Mark Williams miss the beginning of the year, so he's actually seen 8 games where he's seen at least 25 minutes, and will make this chart look a whole lot better. Just seeing 25 plus minutes, again, 29 in his debut. He's over in 6 of 8 games, and again, loving this without Mobley down low against Cleveland. He should be able to do this. Now, I want to point out the fact that he had 21 and 11, so 21 points, great scoring night. What did Booker and Durant do? They both went for 35 plus. So that was with that happening. So that if he chips in with even more points, he's getting over this in just his points alone. I'm not expecting 21 points from him, but if he can get 15, that'd be awesome. He's only need to grab a couple of rebounds, and he rebounded well here too. So again, the matchup in terms of numbers, Points allowed, rebounds allowed, especially to centers, doesn't look amazing. But when you look a little deeper, obviously Mobley's a big part of that. And we did just see the game without Mobley. Rudy Gobert went for 17 points and 12 rebounds against them. So definitely a good sign for centers against them. Centers have also hit their lines pretty decently. I looked back and saw the last few centers that have played them, and a lot of them are going over their points lines and the rebounds lines. So without Mobley in the lineup, that's huge. We saw Rudy Gobert go for 17 and 12. Now we see Nick Richards in a new role, definitely getting as much as he can handle, 29 minutes in that game, and a huge chart, averaging 27 points and rebounds in games he's seeing at least 25 minutes. So that's conservative for sure. Nick Richards, this line's too low. This will start coming up as he gets more and more time on the Suns. They have no other option at center. They're not playing Mason Plumlee 30 minutes a game. They don't like Yusuf Nurkic so much that they're just saying he has an illness. He's missed the last 7 games. He missed his rotation spot before that anyway. He was just getting DNPs. So yeah, Nick Richards is going to get a whole bunch of run, hopefully. Again, foul trouble is a big concern here, but I don't think that should be an issue. And again, if he sees the time, this should be an easy cash for us. And the big thing on the other side of the floor, no Mobley makes this an okay matchup. And then before we jump into the last pick of the video, I do want to remind everyone to like the video if you got to this point, subscribe if you're new, comment something down below. It tells YouTube to push this video out a little bit more. And I also want to let you know if you're interested in this tool I'm using, it's called Outlier. There is a free week. You can try it out using my link in the description. Definitely check that out. There's also a bunch of other tools I use like OddsJam to kind of see the line. So this Nick Richards line, again, I'm always going to be attacking EV. A couple books already got this in 19.5, but it's definitely still available at 18.5. Looks like PrizePicks still has it available at 18.5. So being able to attack lines and be able to line shop, that's huge on a tool like OddsJam. DG Fantasy is also kind of similar to this. And then the RotoWire projection model is something fun. I don't always plug it super hard, but it's something I definitely use every single day. I use it if I'm just kind of looking for something or if I want another opinion on it. We don't always agree, but when we do, it's just another added data point that I look at. There's a 2-day free trial. You can check out the link in the description. It's pretty sweet. You don't even have to put your credit card in. But I just happened to look at this, and they love our plays for today. These were after I even found them. 18.5 for Nick Richards, 21.35 is their projection, or 21.38. Walker Kessler was the other one we liked at 25.5 PRA. They're expecting 30.84. And then the last one we liked was going to be Mark Williams over his lines, and they love this one as well. Points or rebounds and assists, 13.5. They're expecting 17.04. So I have a bunch of tools. Definitely check out the links in the description down below. If you want access to my Discord community for free, that's plenty ways to get in there for free. Signing up for like PrizePicks or Underdog or Sleeper or Betr, any of these other platforms that I partner with, and I send picks out every day for. Definitely great ways to check it out for free. Again, when you use my codes and signing up, you get a perk. So whether it's a deposit match on PrizePicks or Underdog or something like that, that's awesome right there. But just let me know, hey, use your code. I'd love to check out your community for free. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll get you right in for a free month. So that's how you get into the community. Again, this is my Discord. I have a bunch of stuff going on here. We got a rich chat. We're always talking sports, talking props, talking different plays. We got some seasoned chefs out here that are always sending out their own plays. They're awesome. Play of the day, share your slips, a whole bunch of other stuff. This is where I send my plays. The voting vault, we do some polls sometimes just for fun. Sometimes they're free months if you vote the right way. MLB, NBA, NFL injury news, right up to date, and then any sort of other stuff. Some added PrizePicks math, Underdog math. If you're interested in you want to be playing 2-mans or 3-mans or 4-mans on PrizePicks or Underdog, just kind of breaks that down. A whole bunch of stuff. So we have a lot of fun in here. Just want to mention again, community is continuing to grow. And if you want to check us out, plenty of different ways to get in for free, but all the information is in the description of this video, so you can just read that there. All right, so moving into our last play of the video, it's actually going to be 2 guys on the same team because I just did all this research, loving the matchup against Phoenix without Evan Mobley and all these different things, and loving this line for Donovan Mitchell at 30.5 points and rebounds. And then I realized everything I kind of thought about goes hand in hand with Darius Garland. Now, I'm going to show you Garland's line. I'm going to show you Mitchell's line. Garland's line, actually, the hit rate wise and honestly, just statistically wise, it looks a little bit better. For some reason, I'm leaning Donovan Mitchell. I like both of them. I'm going to be playing both of them. I don't know if I put them in the same slip just because it's kind of counterintuitive, but I think they both could absolutely do this, especially without Evan Mobley, given the matchup and things like that. So we'll start with Donovan Mitchell, then I'll quickly talk about Darius Garland. I think they're both in really good spots today. Donovan Mitchell over points and rebounds. I'm not adding assists for this one. He just put up 36 and 8 against the Timberwolves, who are a worse matchup than Phoenix here statistically, when you really dive into how Donovan Mitchell scores his points. So I love that. He had a huge volume. He shot 27 times in that game, which is the most this year. I guess maybe second most, but he had a whole bunch of volume, and that's kind of consistent with the fact that Evan Mobley's out of this game. So I do love to see that. He had a little bit more on his shoulders. This was a relatively close game that he had to kind of put the team on his back and with Darius Garland really show up without Evan Mobley, to lessen the scoring load here. So he had a ton of shots. Usage was very high. Now he gets a Phoenix matchup that is very, very, promising for a guy like him. So I just did my write-up just so I don't have to take it off the dome. 23rd in terms of pick and roll ball handling defense, the Suns are. And Mitchell gets 35% of his points in the pick and roll offense. So do love to see that right off the bat. He's also, again, we just saw him shoot 27 times against this team, or against the Minnesota Timberwolves without Evan Mobley. And obviously Donovan shoots a whole bunch of shots, but this year he hasn't had to do all too much scoring. Obviously he has some good scoring games, but his averages are way down for this season as opposed to last season. It's just because they're so good. They have a whole bunch of scoring options, and they blow out a lot of teams that his scoring average is a little bit down. But the big thing is, without Evan Mobley, he's played 3 games. He's gone over this line in 2 of those 3 games, but I do love the volume, 23, 18, and 27 shots. So again, 8-point spread. I think this one should stay relatively close. It will be a more offensive game for sure, I think, especially without one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates in Evan Mobley in the lineup. But yeah, this is good to see. So 18 shot attempts as the minimum, 27 as the maximum here, and I do think Donovan's going to be able to get up shots he needs in this matchup. So liking to see that. I actually looked a little bit deeper. In games he shot at least 18 times going up against a bad pick and roll defense, which this Phoenix team is, like we talked about. He's over in 6 of 8 of those games, averaging 35.5 points and rebounds. So everything kind of checking out here for Donovan Mitchell. And then I realized I should probably look at Darius Garland because he's also been really good. He's played 3 games without Mobley as well. He's gone over in 3 of 3 games, which again, I think you can play these guys in maybe not the same slip, but definitely confidently in 2 different slips maybe. But yeah, Darius Garland's been doing really, really well. Similar thing to him. In these games, he shot 18, 17, and 19 shots. I looked into games that he's shooting at least 15 times, so a little bit more conservative because he hasn't had some huge game. And in games he shot at least 15 times and going up against a bottom pick and roll defense where he gets also like 35% of his points. The hit rate's like a 70% hit rate as well. So another really good matchup for Garland. I expect the guards to dominate in this game, specifically this matchup, because of the pick and roll defense for Phoenix. They don't have a great defense. He went over against Minnesota. These are 2 bad defenses, but he still went over. And yeah, good to see. All right, so jumping into the recap of what we talked about in this video, I did not expect to go out 7 plays today. I got 2 leans I'm just going to really quickly mention. But yeah, just kept seeing things that I liked and just wanted to get you guys as much information as possible. Didn't do a video yesterday, so yeah, giving out 7 plays today. So obviously we went in depth in all of these. I'm not going to do that again, but the 5 plays we went in depth on were Mark Williams over 13.5 rebounds and assists, Walker Kessler over 25.5 PRA, Nick Richards over 18.5 points and rebounds, Donovan Mitchell over 30.5 points and rebounds, and then Darius Garland, again, both these guys on the same team. I think they could both get there today, but maybe don't play them in the same slip. Darius Garland over 31.5 PRA. And then 2 leans I haven't really gone into yet. Jalen Green over 2.5 3-pointers made. I'm seeing this at minus 160 on some books. It's definitely juiced, but he's averaging 5.1 3-pointers made per game or 5 3-pointers made per game over the last 8 games, all of those without Jabari Smith Jr. He's absolutely shooting the lights out. His field goal percentage has to come down for a guy that doesn't typically shoot this well. But we've seen him go on these stretches, especially last year. He did the same thing, I think, in like March or April. Now he's just absolutely cooking in January. So I would definitely play that. He's got a perfect matchup against Detroit, who allow, I think, literally 29th or maybe even dead last in terms of above the break threes, where Jalen Green gets most of his 3-pointers. It's just a perfect matchup for him to get some threes. I could even mess around and get some plus money on the 4 plus 3-pointers made at plus 160 is definitely something to look into too. And then another one, I haven't really gave out much unders lately. So Tim Hardaway Jr. under 12.5 points. I don't love his matchup against Houston. They don't allow a lot of points to spot up shooters, which Tim Hardaway Jr. is. Pretty much the only time he goes over this is we've seen him have 20 plus point games when he shoots like 65% from the field. Obviously that's going to happen sometimes. I just don't see the volume being there. I know Jaden Ivey's out, but it's a tough defense against Houston. So under 12.5 points, that one was looking pretty good too. So that will do it for this one. Again, if you made it all the way through the video, definitely go ahead and leave it a like. It helps YouTube push this video out. If you have a little bit of extra time, leave a comment. That'd be awesome too. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. If I'm a little bit too monotone, it's just because I'm so tired right now. Coming off a weekend, it's literally 3:30 in the morning. So I'm excited to go to bed, but I think we have really good reads. That's why I just kept going, because I kept finding plays that I really, really liked. Sometimes that doesn't happen. So If I can find 7 plays for you guys, 5, I guess, official video picks, 2 leans, I will just continue to give you that value. So let me know if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Definitely check out the community. We grow in the Discord community where you get access to all my plays, but also just a fun time talking to other people that like sports, bouncing ideas off each other and things like that. Plenty of different ways to get in for free. Use those deposit bonuses that you get using my codes for PrizePicks, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Dabble, Betr, all these different platforms. And then, of course, check out any of the tools I was using. You have to have tools if you want to be a profitable sports bettor, unless you're just tailing some other people. But if you're someone that likes research and things like that, there's plenty of tools. Again, description of the video with free trials or discounts on your first month using my links. Great way to support the channel, but also a great way for you guys to check out those tools, and they're definitely advantageous. So that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in tomorrow night's video where we're talking about Tuesday's games. Good luck with all your bets. Let me know any questions or anything in the comments down below. And again, if you use my code, let me know in the comments. It's not automatic. I gotta get you guys set up into it. But it is, again, I love giving out free months. You can get up to like 8 free months. So that will do it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.